Hey guys, I'm over here with TheMountainRN. He's in town at an Emergency Communications Academy course for the weekend, and he came down to visit. We've had some dinner, we've had some drinks, we've talked, we've watched some TV, and now we're going to make some videos. We've also talked about a lot of medical stuff. On this one, we're going to be talking about a topic that you've been covering on your channel now for a little bit and done some videos on a concept which we were just talking about what to call it, and we were saying a multi-purpose, multimedia station box that could be used in a bug-out bag, emergency purposes, and you could customize it based off of certain hardware and then software that you could program to it.
So working more with radios now, I'm starting to find like how it's important and things like that, and I started to play a little bit with Raspberry Pi and things like that, and I started, there's different videos out there what you can do with a Raspberry Pi, but it's like one video here, one video there and stuff, and suddenly I'm like, it would be fun to have a box, and this would be my goal, is like to make like something that small that you could literally almost like be wasted, so it's not like, you know, $500 or $600, so low price.
You're talking like less than $100.
Less than $100. I think that's my goal about but that would have like multiple purpose, multiple use.
What's some of the stuff that you're envisioning? And we can go into the details later on, but what's like just an overview of some of the features that you're envisioning for, I was calling it a bug out box, but bug
out box, it would be good. Because the purpose would be, so the beauty with a Raspberry Pi, and so there's different style, and actually I'm working on a bigger box with a bigger Raspberry Pi, but they all have about the same core features and stuff. They're just the hardware, so like how to hook it up and everything and stuff. But the main core of this and the beauty with the system is that their memory comes from an SD card chip, and so micro SD, and so depending of the micro SD that you put in there, it change how the computer behave. And so I thought, like, for example, if you have a case like this case, that means like for each card that I have in there, suddenly I can have a different function for my system. So hard on multi-software, limited hardware.
So some of the functions, so this is all open source software that you could program to a micro SD, and it could be it could serve as a repeater then.
So some of the ideas that was the main concept. So some of the ideas that slowly
email can you pair it with your ham radio and
you could email from that. Like a lot of people that use that. I bought this book on Amazon, and you can put probably the link down, like how to be a spy with a Raspberry Pi, but he just gives like the recipe on how to put the stuff in. But some of the thing I was saying, so for example a repeater, because if you want to contact VHF, you have to have structure. So if you're in the middle of the woods, so again it's I'm bugging out, I got my bag, I don't want something heavy, but for whatever reason one party is looking for a good place to stay and the other is staying at the base camp, but they want to be able to communicate. I could put that box on the top of a mountain.
Put this box somewhere up
on a mountain, and with like small wire like this, suddenly I have an antenna. I can communicate with this. And then if I'm in the city, I can also use this and put another thing, and with a camera, now suddenly I got a burglar alarm, and using, for example, a little system like this where you can have a Android, and Android now can interact with wireless and everything, those computer. Basically I could have a screen, and this box could be at a certain distance, and I could see what's going on. And so I leave this box at the entrance of my, let's say I'm in the basement of a place, leave this, I go in my corner and I can monitor this, and I can monitor.
So it's a portable surveillance camera. We're talking small micro SD cards. They don't have to, like the ones I have are 32 gig, 128 gig. What you're talking
For like most of the
really
things
cheap
they
ones,
say, yeah, more of them they talk about. And again, depends on what you could like. You could even leave message on it. So that was another one. Well, if I'm using message, then you're talking about voice and everything. So maybe a 30, but most of the program, because it's just a 4 and it's not much component, a 4 or 8 is more than sufficient.
So like when you're talking about having the repeater, if you're in the wilderness, you would just take out a micro SD, insert it, then your bug out box will now be a repeater. Okay, I no longer need it for that. Let's take it out. Let's put in the new micro SD card, and now we're going to connect it to a camera that's already embedded in it. Now it's our camera system, or
camera
infrared system.
Infrared system too.
And all the software it's already available online. You just have to download it, right?
Yeah, you just have to download it, put it together, and figure it out. Like for example, that book was talking about different things. They were talking about making it as a listening device, and so like to spy on people, so it could become like a listening device. There's even like, it looks a little bit like this, and it's a little FM transmitter, and so basically now I could add this system and again have it installed in the box, put the reg USB, and so for example we were talking about that as we were driving, you go over an overpass and you have family that is following you, and you tell them, when you pass over this overpass, put your radio at 93.5 FM. You leave this over there and it can transmit when they pass over there, and then they'll get the message, I'm going to bug out B. And only the people that listen, obviously everybody that listen on that FM, but so you could leave stuff like this.
It's a portable FM transmitter.
It became a FM transmitter. So there was like a repeater, FM transmitter, listening. It can become also with, for example, if you have a little kit like this, just like the USB ports over here, it can become an SDR card. And we were looking at different style of cameras, of screen. It's literally become our own computer, and you can even with a little system like this.
So it's just one of the flip keyboards.
Flip keyboards and stuff like this, and this is basically my whole computer. And so I can program, I can write stuff. Obviously it's small, but it can fit in there. So you have a full computer.
And then with the case, it's waterproof. Then
waterproof,
and you would only need to expose some certain, if you wanted to have some certain lines coming out.
Yeah, I could probably there was. Little connectors like this, like we were talking about antennas, and again the hardware could be on it, and the antenna could be already in, and then if you don't use the port, then I don't think it won't recognize. But you have little cables like this, which has the little form there that basically you just solder right on to the board, and then basically now you got a SMA card. And so not only it can be a transmitter for FM, but it can also be a what they call a basically you can transmit in FM. So VHF, but you can receive on UHF, and so basically it can be a double repeater as well. So it can have that form, so you can go in one ship and then come out the other side and stuff.
You were talking about how this could be run on not only on battery, then just like your standard cell phone battery with I think this is the one that we connected it to.
Yes.
Or you could use an inexpensive solar panel then.
Yeah. So the system that I wanted to do, because a Raspberry Pi takes almost nothing to run. So the system that I bought is this little one.
I'll do a close up of it.
Put a link. And how it goes is that there's a few connections, and so there's one for the battery. And then there's another one here. And so in my bigger box, what I have is for my screen, I'm using an Android, and it's a cheap Android, like it was like $40. And so now not only I have a backup phone, but now it's used as my computer as well. And I can hook a different system, like because mine does a little bit more radio stuff, so I can do FLDG, I can listen to different things and stuff, and this can all do that stuff as well. And so now with this, I can connect it
Just
on
a USB to USB micro.
Yeah, USB to micro, and then it can be solar. And
it's passed through, so it would also you can also charge the battery and run your bug out box.
Your bug out box, yeah, and it's limited, and so if it feels the battery is full or something, it will stop charging. And so now I can also, and this is why I choose that solar panel, I can unplug this system, and now I can plug that to the wall, and now this can be plugged. So basically, if I leave it in my bag or whatever, or I get to a home and I got electricity, I can recharge my whole system.
Or if you have one of the adapters for your cigarette lighters, or you can charge it when you're in a vehicle.
So as the vehicle goes, I can charge it.
Transmitter, you could have this charging through that.
Oh yeah. And then from this port there, then it fills the USB. So basically, I can charge a tablet or phone. Like in my bigger box, actually, I use a tablet, and so my tablet is getting charged from a system like this. But also mine is a little bit bigger because I want to be able to charge another radio. But it's more amateur radio related. Yeah. But for somebody that just want to use different multiple use and stuff, it's and yeah, there's tons of you can even do voice over internet, so VoIP phones. And so that means, like, for example, a lot of time we always say that cellular phone or Android phone would become paperweight. Yeah. But if I put an app on and then I go through that pitch, so that means now, because this is wireless, if I boost the antenna with the antenna, that means I could use this to communicate just like phone. So again, not like a big distance, but
even, like in a small area, then if you're in a party or your neighborhood, maybe, or
if over a neighborhood, I could probably put this, let's say, on my roof, and the neighbor across, because we can see each other and whatever wireless distance there is, I could communicate with him.
So in an emergency situation, there's no power, no satellites, no cell phones, you could have this. Make sure that your your devices or iPhone have an app that's able to talk to this, and your people in your party, your neighborhood, or your bug out group or whatever could all be communicating with their smartphones as normal.
Yeah, and it's called soft phone.
Yeah.
And even, like, let's say you have, like, mine has like a backup phone. Yeah. Well, now you can put those apps, and so even with your phone, that means that
and the apps might be just something you could keep on another SD card, and put this on your phone.
On phone,
and give the APK or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just transfer stuff. So there's tons of, and this is just a few ideas already and stuff. So it's really the concept now is like to.
It's a concept that we want to come to fruition.
Fruition, yeah. So it's about building it, trying it, see if everything works for electricity, the power, and everything. If changing. SD card will work very well and stuff. Getting the kind of SD card that we want, and coding and all that stuff and everything. So right now, that's why I'm learning a little bit more how Raspberry Pi works.
Yeah, I mean, all my coworkers, because I work in software engineering, and when I go home, I go make YouTube videos and stuff. When they go home, they go with their Raspberry Pis, and they have all these pet projects that they're making for, I don't know, turning on lights funny ways. Yeah. But this is doing a Raspberry Pi project. And for like a bug out emergency situation, that could be in something that could be replicated anywhere. So if we could give a ingredient list or supply list, okay, buy this, and this, it's less than $100. You can make one of these, put it in your bug out bag, and now you have a multi-purpose, multi-feature, multimedia device.
Yes, and because also it's not hardware heavy, that means that you can replicate those SD card, put them all over the place.
You can have a Dropbox folder or something, or hey, download this, and this. Here's the links, and put it on these cards. Here's the supplies. Here's how to put it. So just take some legwork for the initial people to put it together, and then create a how-to
How to, yeah, because right now, like, there is
PDF.
like there is a something for X, and there is something
Yeah,
for that.
all the stuff is already out there. It's just
Yep.
no one's ever really put it all together for this kind of system.
For the system, yeah,
It's all
like it
standalone.
would work and stuff.
They're all a la carte projects in there. And now you're talking something, a full system of integrated components then.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, like you were saying, you have a library, you download this, you put it all in this, you put it in your bug out bag, in your backup in your car, and you have like your SD cards and things like that, and then all you need after that is the system. And then again, even let's say, like you break a component, like you break your screen or something like this, well, you can still like save this, or for whatever reason you encounter another people with Raspberry Pi or something, like like you were saying, a lot of your coworkers would have Raspberry Pi. Well, if you find a house with Raspberry Pi, let's say in Dead Men Walking, well, you go in the house and there's tons of Raspberry Pi. Well, now those Raspberry Pi can be turned into your system.
And maybe you could have one that does limited cable. You could have your main one that does a whole bunch of different things, like the camera and everything you're talking about, and one that's just for a repeater that you could put up on a person.
Yeah. Like you see, like this was I think $12.
Yeah. And you said you bought 3 of these for $10?
$10, I think, on eBay or something like that. So you see, like, just this and this. Let's say you just want to do a repeater.
Yeah.
So that means
a couple
like
dollars for an SD card, for a 4 gig SD card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I bought like a whole bag for it.
Yeah, when the Mountain RN was in town, was that last month for the prepper party? I was driving you back to the bus, and he was telling me about this project. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is awesome. We need to talk about it on the channel to get some. Let's get this thing going. We just need some smart people.
Yeah.
And get a good game plan. And I think we just need to treat it like any other software project and have a design.
Because it's really the code.
And,
like right now, it's like right now with all the component, this is not very hard to put it together. And stuff, but it's having the right code that's gonna work. And because sometimes I'll try to do something, and like that Linux line doesn't work, and now you have to. So I had to learn Linux, and so this is why this project is taking longer than I expected, because it's totally different.
Well, now we got it out there to the. We've been talking on your channel. We're talking on mine now. Hopefully, other people will talk about it. Hey, that's a good idea, and listen, we have to get this thing going. So hopefully, you guys like this idea. I think it's awesome. And you've been how long have you been working on it for? The concept?
On and off for about like 2 months, I think. 2 or 3 months, yeah.
So let's get the comment section going. What do you guys think about this multi-purpose, multimedia bug out box that could be replicated very easily, inexpensively, and be used in
less than $100 bucks.
Less than $100 is the goal. Like I think would be awesome. You could even have 2 of them if you wanted. So we're not talking a $500 kit that that you're just might lose.
And this is why, because it's like something to leave behind. This is where always my purpose, that if something happens, you don't care so much, you're leaving that behind. And again, by having multiple programs, so let's say I was doing as a repeater, and for whatever reason my location is compromised and I leave, I still have the SD cards. So all I need now is to get.
So really, you just need these, and you could replicate the.
If I find another Raspberry Pi,
all of the stuff
is mostly this. That's the main brain. That's what you want, and this you can replicate it, which is free. And obviously, you need the hardware to roll it, but. Again, like you were saying, a lot of people now, like those things are found everywhere.
Yeah, and people spend for their bug out bags, they buy GPS units that are $400, $500, and you can make 4 or 5 of these.
5 or 4 of these, maybe
more. So.
Yeah, and again, like you were saying too, if you just want to do a repeater, and so you see, like something that big, I don't even need a big box like that. I just need something like.
Yeah, you were calling it the Swiss Army knife of multimedia.
Multimedia Swiss Army knife kind of thing.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
Because it's really had like multi-purpose, and this is what I've been looking at, like cameras, conversation, listening device, FM transmission. That's another one that I was starting to talk about. Obviously, it's nothing like FM transmission. You won't be feeding out a whole city, but like I was talking about, you leave it under and you leave a message. And now if you get to amateur radio, you put like a software like Dire Wolf, which is a sound modem. And then basically you attach a radio to this, and now I can do APRS, I can talk, I can, and with SDR, I can listen to whatever environment I am. So just with this box there and my stuff, I can see what's going on. I can listen to device and everything. I don't even need a radio.
It might be something that maybe we could start off as a baseline version 1 that has limited functionality, but like some of the repeater and something else.
Oh yeah.
And then come out with a new video on it.
Yeah, as long as, because like it's gonna be like,
and it's still good, just even with a couple things.
Yeah, it's to see like which screen to use, what to put, what like would this solar panel be enough to fill out? Like for example, in my box, I want to be able to fill out a 9-volt radio. Well, a solar panel like this was not sufficient, so that's one of the reasons I went with a bigger box, bigger solar panel, but then I have a different system because I want to have the radio. But you have the radio, but just like a small box, like it's just
so So the MountainRN came into town. He came carrying bags of gifts, and you already have all these supplies. And you donated these for, hey, you want to take a look at?
Because I have mine for my other box, and so basically it'll be yours.
So I have all the supplies now. It's just I have to go and work on it as well. So now we have 2 people. On it. Hopefully we'll get more people.
More format, There
has to be more like computer nerds out there in the YouTube audience that, hey, I already have something like this too. So leave your comments below in the comment section regarding this video topic. This could be a big one. This could be something that everyone could have in their kit.
Oh yeah.
And it could be very valuable, and it's inexpensive, which is
and again, once the brain computer geek gets the hard work, the people that have never played with Raspberry Pi will be easy, because it'll be like, here's the instruction, you push that in and stuff, and it'll start doing his stuff. And so once the box is done, and like you said, with clear instruction on how to create one of those, it's not very hard.
This isn't like something that some company might, I like that idea, I'm going to make this. Is like an open source project, project.
Yeah, because Raspberry Pi, you cannot like close those things, and you cannot close that, and so it would be like a community. This is what I would like. It's really a community.
That's what it should be. I think it's awesome. I think if this was done right, this could be something that everyone could have in their bags. You could have it in all of your kits, and with so much, it's a Swiss Army knife of so much different things it could do. I was really excited when I initially heard about it. Now I'm even more excited. Now we got it on video, so we have to get the ball rolling, I think so. All right, guys, so leave your comments below in the comments section regarding this video. Special thanks to the MountainRN for coming down from Canada to visit, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video featuring the multi-purpose, multimedia bug out box, or if you guys have a name suggestion, leave it in the comment below, because that's a little too long.
That's too long.
That's too long. We need something real catchy.
We need catchy.
Yeah, but okay. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.